everyone. This is Katy. I am a youth librarian at the Granville branch of Kent District Library. And I'm so excited to welcome you tonight to our second Best of 2020 book talking video. Tonight, you're going to hear from me and 10 of my friends throughout KDL. And we are going to share our favorite junior fiction books, nonfiction books, and graphic novels with you. So my hope is that you hear about at least one book that you are dying to read. And if you do, then we have done our job. So enjoy hearing about our favorites tonight. As a reminder, we did film a previous video that includes picture books, early readers, and beginning chapter books. Enjoy the book talks. Bye.
Hi everybody, Miss Audrey here. I'm coming to you from our lovely Caledonia branch where sadly it's way too quiet. But some of the reason that we're quiet is that a lot of us are really excited about one of these new books that just came out. So a lot of kids know about Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. Mwah, magical. Okay, so last year he came out with the book, A Tale of Magic, which if you like Harry Potter or Land of Stories, it's kind of a mix in between there. Awesome series. So book 2 came out this year. So Bristol's back in this story and she is defending her magic and the whole fairy world of things. And I'm not one to like fantasy as much. I love this series. Chris Colfer is magic in and of himself. Pick it up. You'll love it. Guaranteed.
Hi, this is Liz from the Plainfield Branch, and I wanted to share my two favorite chapter books of 2020. The first one is From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Jennie Marks. In this book, 12-year-old Zoe receives a letter from her father, Marcus, who has been in prison Zoe's entire life. He was convicted of murder. He's been writing to her every year on her birthday, but this is the first time she's actually read one of the letters he's written. She asks her mom about it, and her mom does not want her to have any contact with Marcus. But Zoe secretly begins writing him letters and finds out that maybe he is not guilty of murder after all, and she works to uncover the mystery of why he's in jail. This was a great story. It was a lot of fun to read. From the Desk of Zoe Washington. The next book I wanted to share with you is Fighting Words by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. This was a tough book to read. It was heart-wrenching. It was beautifully written. It's about 10-year-old Della, who is in foster care with her older sister, Suki. And both girls, their mom is in prison, and they were living with their mother's boyfriend who sexually abused both of the girls. And they are in recovery. They're going to therapy. They're trying to move on. But Della has a big personality and a big voice, and she's not afraid to stand up for herself. She's a very exciting character. But her older sister, Suki, is always taking care of her. And later in the story, Suki attempts suicide, and Della realizes that she needs help, and they both need to lean on each other to move on. So it was a hard book to read. It was so well written, though. Bradley is an amazing author. She includes a note about her own abuse in the end and discussion questions. I highly recommend Fighting Words by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. And those were my favorite two books of 2020. Thanks.
The Lost Scroll of the Physician by Alicia Sevigny is the first book in a new series, and I loved this book. It's a fast-paced mystery, and it takes place in ancient Egypt. Sesha is the daughter of the pharaoh's royal physician, which is a fancy word for doctor, but both of Sesha's parents recently passed away in a fire that was purposefully set by palace guards. So now Sesha has no idea who at the palace can be trusted. But she does know that her younger brother Kai has a serious medical condition, and it's getting worse. It's going to be up to Sesha to find a priceless scroll that their father believed holds the key to saving Kai's life. But Sesha's not the only person looking for this scroll. Egypt is on the brink of war, and the pharaoh believes that the scroll is the key to securing Egypt's victory. But was the scroll the reason that Sesha's parents were targeted? And will she be next? Find out in The Lost Scroll of the Physician by Alicia Sevigny.
Hi there, I'm Miss Brittany from the Walker Branch, and today I wanted to share my favorite J fiction book that came out this year, which was Echo Mountain by Lauren Welk. So after the financial crash during the Great Depression leaves her family without an income, Ellie and her family moves to Echo Mountain to start a new life. Not all of the family is happy about the move, and Ellie's sister is resentful of the mountain. Ellie, however, feels at home in her new surroundings. Tragedy strikes the family, though, when an accident leaves Ellie's father in a coma. The family struggles to survive, and everyone blames Ellie for what has happened. But Ellie knows the real story. Ellie will do anything to bring her father back and is on a mission to find a cure. If you like historical fiction, you should give this one a try. It is really good. And I hope you give it a read. Take care.
Hello, everyone. Chris Vogelar here from the Granville Branch. I'm here to tell you about my favorite book of 2020, which is Skunk and Badger, written by Amy Timberlake and illustrated by John Clausen. It's a short, really short junior novel, about 122 pages, that feature two characters who are so very different from each other. And as the story unfolds, you're able to see if they're really able to figure out how to be friends. So the story begins with Badger, who lives a quiet, peaceful life all by himself. He gets a knock on his front door one day, and it's Skunk. He's there with a suitcase, as you'll see on the cover of the book, ready to move in. And despite Badger's many, many objections, he does ultimately take Skunk in, and all sorts of fun things begin to happen as a result. Badger didn't want a friend. He didn't think that he needed a friend. But what he realized in the end was how much more complete his life was when Skunk came into it. It's a beautifully written story. The illustrations are lovely. If you like Wind in the Willows, Frog and Toad, even Winnie the Pooh, I think you'll really like this book, Skunk and Badger by Amy Timberlake.
Hey everyone, my name is Miss Jennie. I'm one of the youth librarians here, and one of my favorite newish series. So this is the first one in the series, but I think there's book 5 that was just published this year. So it's a series about Claude. He's an evil alien warlord cat, and it's by Johnny Marciano and Emily Chenoweth. And the reason I'm recommending this is because it made me laugh out loud. I just loved it. It was so funny. It's about Claude. His real name is Whiskas, and he comes from a planet inhabited by cats, and it's called Planet Litterbox. And he gets sent to Earth because he is just diabolical. He is trying to scheme and take over the planet, and he gets sent to Earth as a punishment. And he ends up landing in this young boy's backyard. This is Raj, and he's just moved from Brooklyn to Oregon. So he doesn't have many friends. He's kind of trying to figure out his new life in Oregon, and in walks Claude. And Raj and Claude have a really funny story. They have to go to camp over the summer, and the whole time Claude is trying to build a rocket ship to get back to his home planet. And he's just a very hilarious anti-hero. I really enjoyed the writing. It was just really clever and funny. And it was just a great chapter book that I think would appeal to maybe like a 3rd, 4th, or 5th grader. Just a really funny read with some illustrations scattered throughout. And it's a series, like I mentioned. So if you really like this one, you can keep reading. So check this one out, Claude, Evil Alien Warlord Cat. It was really funny. All right, thanks for listening.
Hi friends, it's Miss Gwen from the Cascade Branch, here to recommend this amazing book to you. It's called Everything Sad is Untrue. The subtitle is A True Story, and it is based on the life of the author Daniel Nayeri. In the book, you meet middle school age Daniel living in Oklahoma after his family has to flee Iran, and he tells his life story kind of as like a modern day Scheherazade from 1001 Arabian Nights, tells it to his classmates and his teacher, kind of in an effort to save his own life. And the story is not so much linear. He goes back and forth between memories from Iran, mythology from his home country, and also reflections on his daily experiences in the US. He deals with a lot of sad stuff. He deals with bullying, he deals with an abusive stepfather, but he also tells just amazing, humorous little tales about the difference between fruit leather in the US and Iran. And there's plenty of bodily humor as well. So you'll be laughing. I cried. It really opened my heart and reminded me why I love to read so much. I highly recommend it. You're going to want to share it with someone else. So find a good friend to read it with or a book club. And I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Katy, branch librarian at the Tyrone Township branch, and I'm sharing with you a couple of my favorite books of 2020. These are both going to be junior nonfiction books for slightly different age ranges. Start off here with How to Write a Story, and it is by Kate Messner and illustrated by Mark Siegel. And so it's picture book style. This is for ages 5 to 8, so early elementary school. But basically it goes through and tells you all of the steps on how to write a story with great illustrations. It's really just a very fun project and a good way to get kids starting writing. Then the second book that I have here is for ages more like 8 to 12. It's called The Radium Girls. It's the Young Readers Edition, and this is by Kate Moore. She wrote a book a couple of years ago on the same subject, the adult version, and just this year has come out with a Young Readers Edition, which I'm happy about because it is fascinating. I want to read the subtitle here is The Scary But True Story of the Poison That Made People Glow in the Dark. And what this book is about the young women in the early 1900s who were hired to paint radium paint on dials for watches would make them glow in the dark. These women were told that it was perfectly safe by their companies, and then women started getting sick. So if there are some kind of horrifying details in there, so if you are squeamish, maybe don't pick this book up. But if you are interested in some real tough history, this is a good one for you. The best part about this book is about how everyone came together, women, family members, doctors, to hold the companies accountable for the damage done to these women. So it's a great human rights story, but also just really interesting science about what happens when you put paint brushes with radium in your mouth. So I hope you enjoy these.
Hey friends, my name is Miss Jennie. I'm one of the youth librarians with KDL, and I wanted to share with you my absolute favorite book of 2020, favorite kids book that was published. It's called This Is How We Do It, and it's by Matt Lamoth. So I've got it on ebook. It's available in print too at any of your libraries. But it follows the lives of 7 kids from around the world, and they're real families. So these are the real families, and one of them lives in Uganda, Russia, Italy, Iran, India, and it just explains a day in their life. So it has these really great illustrations. I had to print some examples of the illustrations for you. So these are the families, and it says, this is who I live with. It says, this is what I wear to school. And it shows their uniforms. It shows what they eat for lunch. I have a picture of that. So all different kinds of foods. It talks about their teachers and how they get to school, how they play, like what games they play, where they sleep, what their home looks like. And it's inspired by 7 real families that this author got to know. And then at the end of the book, this is the best part, it says, this is my night sky. And it shows you that we are all underneath the same night sky, even though we're all very different. We're all people, and we all share this earth together, and we're all humans. And, it's just this wonderful way to sort of illustrate for children that our lives are different, but they're all very connected too. So it was such a touching, wonderful book. It's a book I would have loved as a kid because I was always fascinated by other cultures and, just other people in the world and what life is like for kids anywhere else in the world. So I highly recommend this book. Once again, it's called This Is How We Do It by Matt Lamoth. And I encourage you to go and hold for it today. Thanks for listening.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christine, and I'm from the Granville branch of Kent District Library. A nonfiction book that I read this year and really enjoyed is called The Not Bad Animals by Sophie Corrigan. And this book is about all of these different animals like vultures and snakes and spiders and sharks who get a pretty bad reputation. We humans say some pretty awful things about them, and sometimes those things that we say just aren't true. So this book kind of gives you the real story of all these animals. So on one page, you'll see this nice big 2-page spread, and you'll see that the creatures are being mean and scary and saying all of these horrible things that we say about them. But then when you turn the page, you get the true story, and you can learn all sorts of fun facts about these animals. For example, vampire bats, or nighttime sky puppies, as I will always be calling them for the rest of my life. They are really only the size of a teacup. I mean, how small is that? That's so cute. I want a fluffy nighttime sky puppy that can just fit in my hand like that. So if you're an animal lover, or if you just like learning cool facts to share with your friends and family, I highly recommend checking out The Not Bad Animals by Sophie Corrigan.
Hey friends, I'm Miss Jennie. I'm one of the youth librarians here at KDL, and I wanted to share with you a really upbeat, happy little animal called the quokka. Meet the Quokkas is a great book published by DK. It's by Karen Jenner, and 2020 was a tough year, and I thought, man, all I want is to read about what is known as the world's happiest animal. And it's known as that because it literally smiles. How cute is this little guy? So quokkas live on an island in Australia, and there's like 10,000 of them. So there's a picture of a tourist interacting with them. They're super social, happy little animals, and they're just adorable. They're about the size of a house cat. And this is a great book too because it's got like that nice large font, really good for maybe like a second grade read. And you can learn more about other marsupials in this story too. So if you've got an animal lover in your family and you want to read about the world's happiest, most adorable little animal, I highly recommend Meet the Quokkas. This is a great read. Thanks for listening. Wanted to share with you one of my favorite new nonfiction books published this year. It's called Moth, an Evolution Story. And I haven't really found another book that so clearly and elegantly articulates the idea of evolution and natural selection and makes it appropriate to like a first, second, or third grader. It's a wonderful book, and it has really lovely illustrations, and it has very sparse text, and it kind of talks to kids about how moths, the peppered moth, needs to survive by camouflaging itself because it needs to hide from birds and bats who want to eat it, right? And in the Industrial Revolution, the moths that were darker in color were the ones that survived because we had polluted our planet with coal. And it talks about how over time we've slowly cleaned up our planet too. So it sort of interweaves information about evolution and climate change and pollution and taking care of the earth all together. And then in the end, it has this really wonderful explanation of what's happened and natural selection and how the speckled peppered moth is making a comeback because the earth is less polluted. So it's a really hopeful story and a really wonderfully informational story, and just gorgeous illustrations, very well written, very easy to understand. I highly recommend this one, Moth. And this is by Isabel Thomas and Daniel Agnew. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Hi, this is Katy from the Granville branch, and I am going to tell you about 3 of my favorite graphic novels from 2020. The first one is called Max Meow Cat Crusader. It's by John Gallagher. And this is about Max. Max is a pretty ordinary cat until one day he goes to visit his friend Mindy. She is a scientist, and he goes to visit her in her secret laboratory. And while he's there, he accidentally eats a tiny piece of a meatball from space. And because it's a meatball from space, it gives him superpowers. And so part of this book is about Max figuring out his superpowers and how they work and what to use them for. And part of the book is about he and Mindy taking on a group of bad guys. This is very silly. It's very fun. If you like the Dogman books or Captain Underpants, I think you're going to really like this one. It's the first book in a series. So again, that is Max Meow Cat Crusader by John Gallagher. The next one I'm going to tell you about is called The Girl and the Galurian. This is the first book in the Lightfall series by Tim Probert. And this book follows Bee and Cad, who go on an epic quest to try to save their world from darkness. They also are trying to figure out what has happened to Bee's grandfather, who has disappeared. And so you get to follow Bee and Cad, who are kind of unlikely friends, as they go on all kinds of adventures and try to figure out the mysteries in their world. Part of why I absolutely love this book is the illustrations. Tim Probert's illustrations are just beautiful. They are intricate and lush, and you feel like you really are visiting all of these worlds that he shows you in the pages. If you like the Star Wars movies, especially when they go to new planets and you get to experience all the cool creatures and plant life and what they look like, I think you'll really like this book. Also, if you like the Amulet series, I think you will really like this book. So again, that is The Girl and the Galurian by Tim Probert. It's the first book in the Lightfall series. The last book I'm going to tell you about is called Fun, Fun, Fun World, and this is by Yehudi Mercado, and it's as fun as it sounds. It's very silly. This is about a group of aliens, and they are led by their captain, Captain Minky. And Captain Minky's greatest dream in life is to conquer Earth. He is desperate to conquer Earth. And so he finally convinces his crew that they are ready, and they land on Earth. And they land on Earth and they get out of their spaceship and they see a big castle. And so Captain Minky charges into the castle and he finds the king of Earth and steals the king's crown. And he puts their flag up on the top of the castle. And then he and his crew celebrate like crazy because they have conquered Earth, obviously. But they haven't conquered Earth. What they have conquered is a theme park called Fun, Fun, Fun World that is falling apart. It's not even an open theme park anymore. But Captain Minky and his crew don't know this, and they meet a little boy named Javi, and Javi decides this is perfect. He is going to convince the aliens to help him fix the theme park. And so he tells the aliens all kinds of stuff. You've conquered Earth. And also here, have a churro. Churros are like our money and diamonds. And so Captain Minky and his crew are celebrating churros, and they're helping rebuild all of these cool theme park rides. And they become friends with Javi too, which is really fun. Part of what I loved is that Captain Minky and his crew all wear the mascot costumes of the characters at the theme park as their disguises, which was really funny to me. And the theme park rides are really cool. Actually, Yehudi Mercado worked with a group of students and they helped him create all of the rides at this theme park, which was really fun too. This was just great. It's so fun. So again, this is Fun, Fun, Fun World by Yehudi Mercado. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm a librarian with Kent District Library. I'm here today to talk to you about one of my favorite graphic novels of the year. The book is called When the Stars Are Scattered. Now, this book is so popular right now that I couldn't even get a physical copy. So what you can do is you can check it out with Overdrive. And here's a picture. I've got it on my phone right now. It's a little bit blurry, but it's fabulous. So this book is by Victoria Jameson, who you might recognize from the book Roller Girl, and it was co-written with Omar Mohammed. Now, this book is about the main character, Omar, the author, and his little brother, Hassan, and they live in a refugee camp in Kenya. Now, life is not very easy in a refugee camp, as you might imagine, and it's made even more difficult by the fact that these two brothers do not have their mom with them, and even more difficult by the fact that one of these brothers is nonverbal and has epilepsy. So they have to make difficult choices every day on whether they should try to get food or whether they should try to go to school and what steps they should take to try to get out of this refugee camp and how they should try to further their lives and find their mom. This book is full of heartbreak. It's also full of some funny parts, and it takes twists and turns that you would not expect it to take. And it's full of some really incredible information at the back and some photographs too, because it's based on a true story. So if you're looking for a fantastic graphic novel that's based on a true story, check out When the Stars Are Scattered.
Hi, my friends, it's Miss Holly and Mr. Fred again, here to talk to you about another great graphic novel of 2020, and it's called Bear by Ben Queen and illustrated by Joe Todd Stanton. Now, why do we love Bear so much? It is a great read if you're like 8 to 12 years old, but it's also a great family read aloud. And I love it when I find graphic novels that are great family read alouds too. So grab this book and it will take you on an adventure of Bear. Now, Bear is a seeing eye dog and he encounters a problem right away after he meets his owner, Patrick. Bear goes blind and he can't see. And so he is led astray by some not so nice raccoons into a beautiful magical forest. And let me tell you, these illustrations are gorgeous. There's the magical forest. And in the magical forest, Bear hopes to cure for his blindness. Okay, so it gets lost and he finds some really special friends along the way. And so the adventure continues and some wonderful things happen, like his senses, his other senses, like his smell and his hearing, get better and stronger. So he really takes a weakness and turns it into a strength. And this is a tearjerker. I must admit, I started to tear up and cry just a little bit towards the end. It is such a sweet, sweet story. So get your copy of Bear, KDL.org, place your hold, and also it is downloadable from Hoopla. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it just as much as I did. All right, thank you for listening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm a librarian with Kent District Library. And today I'm here to talk to you about an amazing graphic novel. It's called Donut, the Destroyer. It's so fabulous that it's checked out everywhere. So you're going to have to put yourself on hold for it right after this. It's by Steph Purnans and Sarah Grayley. It takes place in a world where you can only be a hero or a villain. Now, our main character is named Donut the Destroyer, and she is born into a family where her parents are villains, but she wants to be a hero, and so she decides to go to hero school. Now, turns out to be quite challenging because, as I said, her parents are super villains, and her best friend wants to be a super villain. So Donut has to go through a lot to figure out who she is, who she wants to be, and it's fabulous. It's entertaining. It's funny. I highly recommend it. You should check it out. So if you're looking for a fun book, check out Donut the Destroyer.
Hi, my friends. It's Miss Holly and Mr. Fred, and we're from the East Grand Rapids branch. And I'm here to talk about one of our favorite emerging reader graphic novels called Fox and Rabbit by Beth Ferry. And it's illustrated by Googly Doodus. And why do I like this so much? Because it is beautifully illustrated, first of all. It is about some unlikely friendship characters that are best friends. Okay, so Fox is pretty laid back. Rabbit, a little more nervous, but they go on these adventures that they have to find themselves being brave, and they help each other overcome the things that they're afraid of. And it's just fun. And I did find myself laughing at parts, and especially the garden scene. But yeah, so this is really, really fun. And one the other thing I took away from this book series, which is this is the first, there is a second one coming out. But one thing I did take away is that I really appreciate how the author really appreciates slowing down and enjoying the simple things in life, kind of like listening and sitting together, enjoying each other's friendships in a field of dandelions. I mean, that just takes me back to my own childhood. It really does. But anyway, and looking at rainbows, and there's just wonderful, wonderful pictures in here that I think the illustrator just did a stellar job with, like the sunset over Lake Michigan, you know? So yeah, so you can go to kdl.org and place your hold for the book. You can also download it on Hoopla. So yes, Fox and Rabbit, Beth Ferry. All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. I hope you heard about some books that you are excited to check out from the library. Remember that you can put them on hold and pick them up through curbside service. A lot of these books are also available as ebooks or e-audiobooks that you can download onto your device. I want to give a big thank you to all of our book talkers tonight. Thank you to Liz, Gwen, Chris, Christine, Holly, Audrey, Brittany, Jennie, Katy, and Sarah. We really appreciate you sharing your favorite books of 2020 with all of us. Hope you all have a great night and happy holidays. Bye.